Good morning, my beautiful melanated family and friends and people, and all of those that are high vibrating. I'm sorry, from other groups. Um, I'm coming to you today. I have an important message that Spirit has given me to to talk about. I am hoping that um, you will open your ears and your eyes to receive it. I am one that has been tagged to, um, do my part in this manifestation to help us to heal and move into the new world, which is where we're headed right now. It's so important that we come together right now and get this information and wake up first so that we can receive it. Um, the first thing I want to talk about is I want to just blatantly say to you in all truth that this planet is sick. The whole planet right now is sick. The invasion that I'm sure you've heard something about, even if you're not fully aware, that took place over 500 years ago, was on the purpose was to destroy this planet, to put this planet under hypnosis, the people of this planet. We have been under hypnosis, a deep one, for all this time, hypnosis / spell. That's how we've been operating, and that's why we've seen so much brokenness for such a very long time in our people, and the whole planet actually. And right now, everybody is being tested and tried. A very difficult time right now, and many of us, many of our people don't know what to do. People from all groups, we don't really understand what's happening, a lot of us. And when you don't understand what's happening, how do you expect to know what to do about it? So, but the information is out here. Being in the age of Aquarius, the time where information is available, and we're in the knowing stage. Again, we've left the believing stage. So there's really no excuse not to learn right now. And many times we have to learn in stages because there's so much information that they hid from us, so many lies that they told us. So in order to catch up, it's going to take a long time, but we have to start somewhere to learning the truth about what has happened to us and what's coming in our future. The first thing we need to focus on is healing the mind, because the war, this part of the war is again on the mind. I've talked about it before. And until we heal the mind, which the whole body works in conjunction, and until we heal the mind, it's kind of hard to go forward, into the next stage or phase if the mind is not operating properly. And so many of our people today, their minds are not operating properly. Their minds are in turmoil. All of us, actually. Some of us may be in a better place than others, but we all have been affected in our minds. Understand too that your heart is your spirit. Know that the very first thing when we are created and we're in our mother's womb, the first part of our creation is our heart. The rest of the body can't function if our heart is not beating. So the heart is the first part of our transformation when we're in our mother's womb. The next thing I want to mention is controlling our emotions. We have to um, embrace developing harmony and balance, and that starts with our minds. Um, and I want to go back to the mind again and mention there are a lot of really great teachers out there that are helping us, helping people with the mind um, healing. Um, Joe Dispenza is one I want to mention, and the reason I want to mention him is in the initial part of my journey that I'm on today. I was introduced to Joe Dispenza, um, and I tell you, he really is a big part of how I got going as fast as I did. Joe Dispenza is a doctor. Um, he's a mind doctor. He's so many other things, but what I want to focus on is that he really has a very good view of the mind and how it works. And he also talks about meditation and how important meditation is, and that we use it, and how it goes so deep to where it heals the body. Meditation alone can do so much for us, and if we put in those other things that are really necessary, we could move even further faster. But meditation is a healing technique. It does so much in the healing of the body. People have come out of fourth stage cancer and healed due to meditation. It's a very powerful method that we were not introduced to, many of us, for a very long time. Most of us, because it wasn't publicly talked about and medically. So do a little research on meditation and how important it is, and how much it could do for us, because I'm a witness of how great meditation is and what it can do for us. And get to know Joe Dispenza. Look him up. He's a very popular speaker on Gaia, if you're familiar with Gaia. It's an app that you can pull up, and it talks about a whole lot of stuff. I won't even get into it. Just check it out. And I always get confused trying to spell Gaia, thinking Gaia, something along those lines. But Google it, and it'll throw the word in there, and get to know who Joe Dispenza is. He was very, very helpful in the initiation of my journey. I want to say judging. We got to stop judging one another. We have this thing which was brought on by Babylon, this white supremacist system. Teaches us to look at everybody and then look at ourselves and compare and find those things that in our mind tells us that's wrong with them, and we just judge them. If they're not doing what we're doing, whatever we've been conditioned through this hypnosis to believe is the right way, even if it's not, we take it and we look at other people and we judge them if they're not doing it. One of the biggest tools, which I think is the biggest tool they use, is religion. They came up with all of these different religions, and that was part of their conquer and divide tactic, was to use religion to help get us under, this light code lockdown, so that they can, conquer us and stay in control. And that's one of the biggest reasons they've been able to keep us under this control for all these years. Religion, it's a tool. It really is. And we've been conditioned to believe that whatever religion we accepted is the only religion. I challenge you to research, look into that, because that's not mess. It's just not true. And I know religion is a very captivating tool. So once you get programmed in it, it is so hard to even consider looking at anything else. Cognitive dissonance is a real thing, and it keeps you from even considering it, where many people don't even want to hear about another option or anything else that might be true. But I tell you, if a people is bent on destroying you, if they hate you to the point of where they just determined to destroy you, why would they give you anything that's going to liberate you or deliver you when we know how they really feel about us? I mean, we have to begin to embrace our common sense and use our own brains to think. They have conditioned us so well not to. And we have to break that spell. It's a spell. And I'm going to tell you, spells are real. Tied to magic. I want to talk about magic for a minute. Magic is real. I know the church and so many other entities taught you to look down on magic, and magic is demonic and it's not real, it's fictitious, it's all these things. Let me tell you, do you know that they used magic to put us in the condition that we're in today, that we're struggling to come out of? We will come out of it, but they used the same thing that they told us not to use because it was bad. Magic. Research magic. Now would be a great time to look into what it's all about, what it means, and you may have a whole different attitude about it, especially when you find out historically they used it against us, though they told us not to use it. So I challenge you to do some research in magic and just open your minds and your eyes and your ears and be open to learn the truth about magic, because they lied about it. Trust me. We've got to learn to love one another again. First, love ourselves, because if we don't love ourselves, we can't even begin to love anyone else. But we got to get back to that. And what I want to say to my people, my black people, so to speak, we used to love one another. We had it right. I can remember, I'm old enough to remember back in the early 70s where we were a family in our communities. We took care of one another. And if somebody, for example, if somebody in the family gave out of a particular item, say sugar or salt or coffee, even a cigarette or anything, you could always go next door to your neighbor and borrow it, and they would give it to you, and you didn't hear it talked about anymore. It was just a normal thing. We behaved like family, like we should. And I can remember those days. I'm old enough that I can remember when that was taking place, how we helped each other. If our children got in a fight, I remember the children getting in a fight on the playground, and parents would go out, and they didn't take a side. They would scold both children, and it was over, or children would get in a fight and they would be friends the next day. There was no murdering each other, one or another, or any of that. We got along like family, and those were the things that we were taught from our mothers and grandmothers and great-grandmothers, to love one another. At one point, that's all we had in the black community was each other. So we've got to get back to that. We cannot, even in this new world system that we are embarking upon, we cannot manifest it until we get back to loving one another. So that's something we need to do. Learn to work together. We could get so much more done when we work together. I take the example of the ant. When you see that, if you've ever taken time or had the opportunity to sit out in nature and watch the ant, how they work hard, how they work together. And I know when I was a little girl, and especially with little boys, my little neighborhood friends, I would see them destroy an ant bed, and I would watch the ants scatter, and they would destroy the little ant mounds, and I'd see kids do that, and then by the end of the day, the whole mound would be formed again, and the ants, how they did it, they would work together. They didn't let nothing stop them from coming right back together and achieving what they had achieved already. They worked hard together. And we got to get back to that. We've got to let the ant, the way the ant operates, be an example of what we need to do. And that's how we used to be. So we got to get back to that. The 42 laws of Ma'at. That's what we had before they gave us religion. And the laws of Ma'at, it teaches you how to behave in a system. And it's even so much more. I want you to look that up when you get a chance. The 42 laws of Ma'at, out of Kemet. Those, I call them rules, standards, teaching of morals. We really need to get back to that. That's what our ancestors used, and the reason they were so successful in developing and keeping harmony in the family, in the immediate family and the extended family, was because they had those laws. And actually, believe it or not, the Ten Commandments was formulated by Babylon. They took some of those laws out of Ma'at, and they created what they created in the Ten Commandments. And I know that may sound foreign to some of you, but it is the truth. If you go and you research, open your minds, and do not let what you've been taught block you, the cognitive dissonance. Excuse it and get this information that is actually not new. It just seems new because it has been hidden for so long. But start researching. Start, looking into books. I have a whole library here. A lot of these books I've already read, and then I have so many more that I have to read. And a lot of why we're where we are today is because they kind of taught us not to read. They've kind of interfered with that too. But we got to start reading. We got to start researching. We got to stop being afraid to open a book. And we need to cite the source to make sure we're reading the right material. That's important too, because not all books are giving us the truth. Not all authors are truth tellers. So we need to link up with people who are already doing this, and that can, advise us on how they learned what they've learned. And we need to start digging in and getting this information. It's so, so important in our quest to manifest this new life. Knowledge is power. And, we fail due to lack of knowledge. So we got to start digging in, people, and getting this information so that we can manifest this beautiful life that is being offered to us and manifesting right now as we speak. So we want to be a part of that. And one way to move into it in a more graceful manner is to get knowledge, real knowledge. There's a whole lot of knowledge out there, but not all knowledge is good and real knowledge. So we want to make sure we cite our sources and get the information that's going to deliver us. So important. I want to mention the term conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theorists. That's a term that was given to us by our enemies. Conspiracy theorists There's no such thing. They made that up. And you need to know that. And the reason they made it up was to interfere with what you're learning today, the things that are being offered to you today by the people who are giving you the truth. There's so many of us out here right now that have been paid to teach, to lead, to share, to support. And many of us have done the work, or we're doing the work. So we are qualified, divinely qualified to give you this information. And not to say that every little bit is going to be perfect and on point, but a high percentage of it will. And that's why I always say, go and research for yourself so you can read it for yourself and see it for yourself. But there's no such thing as a conspiracy theory. I mean, you could say it is, but the term was created by our enemies. And it was created to harm us and to keep us in a certain place. So they don't want you to get this information, these divinely placed teachers that are trying to tell you that everything they taught us was a lie. So let me give you a part of the truth. They don't want you to get that. And so during this light code lockdown, this magical spell work that they did on us, part of that was to condition you to believe in this term and that it's a real thing, and it's not really. So now is the time they really want you to focus on that term and really think that it's what it's not. But conspiracy theories is what we're not. We have real information that is divine information that has been placed and given to us during a time like now in order for us to come out of this hole that we've been in for such a very long time. So please embrace that, that it's really not such a thing, conspiracy theories. It's real, y'all. What we're experiencing right now is really real. It's no joke about it. I watched Joe Biden come on TV the other day, and he talked about, he casually mentioned announcing that they had to get control of this new world order. Y'all, I can't stress enough in just trying to get you guys to understand this type of war that we're in and understand all the things that we need to be doing to win, to triumph out of this war. Black people, you know, and I know that we are the most loving people on the planet. Before we were infiltrated, before we were tampered with, our nature was we just had a beautiful nature. And it's still in us. We just gotta break loose and get back to who we really are. And we're doing that right now. Mother Nature is working diligently to bring that back to us. And it's all divine. There's nothing they can do to stop it. And they're trying very, very hard. But destiny says there's nothing that they can do. The sun is getting hotter. It's the UVA, the UVB, and the UVC rays are getting stronger and stronger. And anything that's not organic on this planet has to go. And that's not our rule. We didn't have anything to do with it. That's Mother Nature. That's nature. If it's not real, it can't stay here. And just so you know, I'll tell you this pretty strong message I'm about to give you. And some of you might not receive it just yet, but I'm hoping and praying that at some point you will. But they're building robots. They are taking our consciousness. They're trying to take our consciousness and place it in robots, because they know that the inorganic ones are being taken off this planet. Yet again, I say, if you're not real, you can't stay here. If it's not organic, it can't remain here on this planet. So they are taking these robots and they're taking consciousness from us, the organic beings, the first people on the planet. Yeah, black people, the melanated people. They're trying to take our consciousness and put it into machines to replace the inorganic ones that are being taken off this planet by Mother Nature. They are actually doing that, y'all. This is not a assumption or a theory, or it is the truth. So these people are not playing. They're not playing with us. And they'll even sacrifice some of their own people just to destroy the people that they're really targeting, and that's us.